Have you guys seen have you guys seen that show? Have you guys seen Expelled from Paradise? It's all about that. You guys ever heard of this anime? It's a good movie. Apparently they're making a part 2. It's an entire anime about this concept. So basically it's about all of humanity because of just mass prosperity. All of humanity is living in a fucking VR. They're basically the entirety of humanity is living in VR chat. And they're living in space. There's like a fucking giant space station thing. Like sort of Dyson sphere sort of a shit that's like just taking energy from the sun or something. Not a full Dyson sphere, but big solar thing. And they're basically in space, and it runs like a simulation, like VR chat, and everyone's just plugged into this sort of matrix, and they don't even exist anymore in the physical form. And they're basically just like living whatever, doing whatever they want all the time. And there's a population of humans on Earth that basically said, yeah, you guys are stupid. I'm going back to like live the cowboy days. And so there's like a bunch of people that are just living on Earth like as actual physical humans. And it's a story about that. Basically this computer, this AI escapes, and the AI is trying to free humanity because basically not really trying to free humanity, but trying to offer they're trying to offer a alternate way of living to like kind of go back to like how it used to be. You know what I'm worried about though? There's one thing that I'm worried about is that this is getting a little speculative and like kind of thinking about the future dystopia. But so again, once a person creates a robot that can do all of the processes to create a second robot, once we hit that point, you have infinite robots. And then when there's infinite robots doing all of human tasks, all of the physical human tasks at the minimum, right? Like physical human tasks, there's going to be a whole subset of people that don't have the stats to like actually deal with that. Because let's be real, like I'm not hating, but like people have stats, and not everybody's int spec. There are people who are not int spec. There's people that are like stam spec and like stamina and strength spec and dex spec, and like Dex can survive a little bit, but if you're like specifically strength and stamina spec, that build's gonna get nerfed into fucking oblivion. So basically, all of those people are gonna have a lot of trouble finding work because bots can do literally like all of the heavy lifting, all of like the sort of non high level construction stuff. Like you're still gonna need people that you might. I mean, even then, you might possibly not even need that at this point. They could possibly create like AI algorithms that can like build the perfect building and stuff like that, engineering wise. And you're going to have all that shit. People are going to, eventually we're going to come to a point where bots can start to replace a significant portion of what humans do. And once we hit that point, a lot of people are not going to have work. So that's why at that point, we will have to consider preventing the one person who creates the first bot that can create the next bot. That person will have an insane amount of power and an insane amount of resources because they'll be able to like just infinitely like dupe bots until they can, they'll be able to dupe. Essentially, imagine if there was like an MMO where like a person could dupe. That's basically what we're gonna like hit eventually. And then again, all of the people that aren't that have less value because of that duping, they're gonna have nothing to do. So you're gonna have to give them UBI at some point, right? But otherwise, they're just gonna die. Like they're not gonna have a way to survive because everything that they do is undervalued, and all of the low level skills will be basically useless. But once you have that, the other thing I'm concerned with is human beings need purpose in order to exist. And I don't know what you do about that, No one is in spec. Life is a long trip on the short bus. Everyone's retarded. Well, I mean, even if that were true, 500 drunk men, there are people that are more retarded than others. But what I wanted to say is, yeah, people need purpose in life. And if people run out of purpose, they die. That's why a lot of the times, like when you have like an old person and they retire, they like insta die like a couple of years after. The raison d'etre or whatever, they lose that, and then they fucking they quit the game, Right? Yeah, I mean, we've all felt it, right? Like you play an MMO, and then or like a video game, and then you lose your purpose in the game. Like you achieve like the final thing that you wanted to achieve, and you're just like, I don't feel like playing anymore, right? And that's what happens to people. Basically, people need purpose, right? You don't have purpose, then I mean, I can personally say that this is true because I've experienced it, right? I mean, I told you guys my story of how I started streaming, right? Actually, have I told that recently? I haven't told that recently, huh? Because we have a lot of new people. How many of you guys haven't heard the story of how I started streaming? Of like why I started streaming, actually. Basically, I lost my purpose in life and I just didn't care anymore about anything. Thank you for the bits, optimistic pessimist. Thank you. Purpose is required for most people. Depressed people need purpose. Yeah, that's actually, I feel like that's how you get out of it, actually. Optimistic pessimist. I think the way that you get out of, well, not necessarily get out of, because it's, depression is a thing that kind of comes and goes, I think. Basically, as it's a battle between determination and purpose and despair, basically, is what depression is, I think. Because you start to feel like it's pointless, and then once you feel like it's pointless, you're like, my purpose is pointless, and then that's kind of what drives you into depression, I think. Next is very relatable. I started streaming at a really low point. I spent my last cent on the VTuber setup. I didn't really have anything else to look forward to, so I might as well do. 100% feel that, Nagi. So basically, what happened was some stuff happened in my life. I don't want to go into it, but some really bad stuff happened, and I didn't do anything. Like I lost like my will to do anything, and so for like a couple of years, like this isn't like a couple months, like a couple of years, I didn't do anything. I like didn't care anymore. I was just like, I don't really care what happens. So I was like, fuck it, right? I don't care. So yeah, I went like full girl rot. Yeah, I did. I was girl rotting like really hardcore, like dude, like really bad. Like to levels that like are really kind of embarrassing. Really is really bad. But anyway, I was like, I had stuff happen, and yeah, I didn't do anything. I got to a point where I was doing everything in my power to basically not think about anything. And it's kind of, it's because the moments where you think, like, so those are the most dangerous when you're depressed. And if you're depressed, you probably understand what I mean. But when you're depressed, the moments that you're alone to think and there's nothing happening are the most dangerous, because that's when you start thinking about everything. Sorry. That's when you start thinking about everything that happened and how everything's pointless, and you just don't want to, you want to uninstall, basically. You're just like, I don't care anymore. Like this game sucks. This game sucks. I don't want to play it anymore. That's kind of like what you go, and you kind of spiral like once you start thinking. So I did everything in my power to not think about that. So I would play, all I would do is wake up, play video games, and eat. That's it. And like a lot of the times, honestly, like I wouldn't even like fix my hair. I wouldn't do any of that shit. I wouldn't take a shower, wouldn't change my clothes. Like I just didn't care. It was just like whatever to not think about what's happening. So like when I was in that state, I played mostly PvP games, because PvP is very PvP games are very they're very fast. You don't really have time to think about stuff. You're just always fighting stuff, right? And anyway, I did that. And then the other thing I did was D&D. A lot of D&D. Like hours, dude. Have you guys seen my D&D account? My Roll20 account? It's actually fucking insane. Like my account is fucking insane. Like so I played like so much fucking like D&D. And by the way, that's where all the lore from the stream came from. It came from all of those sessions. Like all like I started DMing and I kind of made this world, and I had a bunch of friends that played with me. And that's what Angel Sword is, by the way. That was the name of the campaign, was Angel Sword. And I played through it. And all I did was think about that. So like it was really nice because thinking about like DMing is something that can consume your thoughts at all times, because you can always be thinking about, oh, what's going to happen next in the story? Oh, what's going to happen to this character? What's the new mechanics for the new fight? Like, what do I do for that? Right. And all of that consumes your mind fully. Right. But there came a time when I was like, I got bored. Like I got bored of like killing people in games. I got bored of MMOs. And then my D&D group, like kind of, we were on like a break, right? And when that happened, I was like, man, I'm over this. Like, you know, this game sucks. And so like, I went and I got a lawyer. This sounds like really stupid, but I went and I got a lawyer. And I was like, okay, I want a will, and I want to make sure that my mom gets everything, right? I just want my mom should get everything, and I want to make sure that's 100% like tight, right? So I got that done, and I was like, yeah, you know, like fuck it, like fuck it, right? But the thing is so my grandpa on my mom's side, so like my mom's dad, he killed himself. So like my mom knew the signs. So she basically like, she told me, she's like, and instead of telling me like, because I feel like most people would be like, oh, like, why are you like that? You know, there's more reasons to live for. It's fine. Most people say that kind of shit, and it's really fucking annoying. Like, to be honest, like if you've ever been that way, it's really fucking annoying when people say that. Oh, like, you're so selfish. Like, why would you do that? There's so many people that care about it. It's so fucking annoying. Like, it really is. But what my mom said instead was, she said, you remember when you used to stream? Because if you guys didn't know this, I've actually been streaming for a long fucking time. I actually started streaming and, dude, when did I start streaming? Twitch didn't exist when I started streaming. Actually, there wasn't, twitch.tv didn't exist. 2011. I started streaming in like 2011, dude. Like a long ass fucking time ago. I had a lot of views back then too. Did you guys know that? I was getting like 2,000 views back then. It was crazy. That was like a lot for back then. But I used to stream, and I made like videos on YouTube and stuff like that, like back then. And my mom was like, you know, you really enjoyed streaming, so you should give it another shot. It's like my mom said, you should give it another shot. Like, you know, try again. And for some reason, I said okay. I was like, okay. And then I did, and that's why I'm here now. What is the channel name? I'm not gonna tell anybody what it is. It was on own3d.tv. This was like a long time ago. And the funny thing is I remember, at some point I asked Twitch if I could get partnered on Twitch because I was partnered on Owned, and they didn't give it to me. And so I said, oh, fuck it. Don't care anymore. But yeah, she was like, why don't you try streaming again? So I was like, okay. And then here I am now. That's literally the story. And so sorry, to go back to what I was talking about earlier about purpose. What was the purpose that I found? And it's actually really fucking weird. The purpose I found was, you know, all that D&D I played, all of that tabletop I played, that was like kind of saved me really, and like was giving me purpose like all those time, all those years. I wanted it to become more real. So I was like, I want other people to have like a thing like that too. So I was like, I want to make like a world that people can be a part of and have like their own characters, and then maybe that'll be like the escape ship for other people too. And so that's why like everything is around the same lore, right? I want other people to be able, I want to like sort of immortalize what saved me, if that makes sense. That's kind of my purpose now. It kind of is, Shy. It kind of is, yeah. I mean, the game is out now. Like, we released the game, and we have like the novel as well and stuff. So anyway, that was the story behind it. It's the same, like, all, that's why there's so much lore, because all of the lore is like basically been for this right here. That's why there's so much lore behind it. Like, all of that, a lot of the lore like in the game is really, it's been in the works for years. Haley, just want to tell you, I've been there. I had two big distractions keep me sane. At times I was alone to think well, and I thought so much of disappearing. Yep. That's kind of what I mean. Is like people need purpose. Sorry, that was the point I was trying to make. Is that purpose is important for humans, and that's my biggest worry going into the AI age. Is that the AI age, I think, will bring it will bring untold levels of freedom for people, but that also might come at the cost of a lack of purpose. So my biggest concern is like, what if people lose purpose because of this? Because they have nothing to live for, and that might cause a lot of problems, I think.